Does the social psychology evidence bear this out? Or is it the case that really we are more deeply social and collective creatures by social nature? So Solomon Asch was a psychology professor. He did some fascinating experiments on college students, university students in America. And this is interesting because in the United States, of course, it's a culture that has a reputation for being very individualistic and so on. So the results that we get from American university students is especially striking. So what he would do is he would say to his introductory psychology classes is, I'm doing some psychological research, and I'll pay you a couple of bucks if you will show up in our lab, and we're going to do some experiments on psychology, and you won't get hurt, don't worry about that, so just show up. So lots of course, poor college students will show up. And what he would say is, what we're going to do, and I was just imagining, is I'm going to ask you to sit on this chair here, and on the screen, I'm going to be displaying some images. And in each case, there's just going to be two objects displayed on the screen. And what I want you to do is say, are those two objects the same, or can you notice a difference? Because what we're trying to do is play around with the psychology of perception and figure out what people can and can't notice using their perceptual faculties. So two images, just tell me, are they the same or not? I don't have the chairs for this. He says, but just to speed the process up, we're going to do students in batches of 3. So there would be 2 other chairs here, one on either side. You would put the test subject in the middle, and you would give those people the same instructions. Now, in fact, these 2 people sitting in these chairs are working with Professor Asch. They're not test subjects, even though they look like college students. And what they have been instructed is, no matter what is displayed on the screen, say that they look the same. Even when things that are different are displayed, say that they are the same. So you start, you have 2 lines, and you put the 2 lines up on the screen, and they're the same length. And I can see, I look at, oh yeah, they're the same. And then these people on either side of me say they are the same, and I say they're the same. I might put 2 red boxes on the screen that are the same, and these guys say they're the same, and so this person says the same. And then the experiment really begins. You put, say, 2 triangles, and one of the triangles, they're both green, but clearly is a different shade of green. And then these 2 say, those are identical. What does this person say? They're the same. Yeah. Well over 90% of all people in that situation will say it's the same. Now, what's going on? That's the question. They can see with their own eyes, and they can see with their own eyes. And nothing is going to happen to them, right? If they say what they know is true. But it's something like it's 2 against 1, right? And I can't go against the group. I can't go against the majority. And it's, right, I'm overwhelmingly then, the conclusion going to be, a product of the group, and my primary impulse is to fit in with the group, even if that involves overriding and suppressing my independent judgment of the facts. Now, what's also interesting is they would film this, so they would have secretly filmed, and then they would start to play around with the dimensions. So how big do the differences on the things being projected need to be before the person will, in fact, say they're different? Right? And it reaches points of absurdity. And what's interesting is you can see the people's faces. You can see the tension that's in their faces. So they look at the screen, they can see it's different, they're about to say, and then they hear it's the same, and their face changes. What? And then it's like stress, right? What do I say? Right? And then eventually they will break down, but they will say things like, "I'm sorry," right? But they're different. Right? Okay? So you have to apologize, right, for pointing out something that's just blindingly obvious. And these are American kids who have been for generations, right, taught, be your own person, do your own dream, sometimes stick it to the man, right, and so on, okay. Even they. So the claim then is that we are by nature, and this is a psychology issue, obviously, conformist. We want to be part of the collective, and that shapes, right, our thinking. So fascinating, right, studies.